Hi, I'm New York City Reloader. I'm a New York resident captured behind enemy lines, and I'm forced to make my own ammo. Well, not forced to, but I pretty much like to. Anyway, I'd like to welcome you to my channel, and this is going to be my first video, and I'm going to be talking about purchasing once fired brass and converting it from 5.56 to 2.23 and doing the whole reload processing and covering it step by step. Figured that would be a really good introduction. So this is what I do in my spare time. I make more ammo. I buy my once fired military brass, it's 5.56, from Capital Cartridge. Comes in pretty dirty, and I clean it through the process I'm about to show you shortly. To deprime brass is fairly easy. Take a spent piece of brass with a primer in it, and I use my Franklin Arsenal deprimer. So go ahead and load that in. Simply depress it, and then pull the trigger. And everything goes well. The brass primer just drops out. This is my Franklin Arsenal wet tumbler and their dryer, and throw my brass in there halfway, a little bit more water, fill to the line, throw in a pinch of Lemmy Shine, some Joy detergent, and I'm good to go. An hour later, I got clean brass. Then I throw it in my Franklin Arsenal dryer, so there's no spots, and it looks like brand new brass. This is my tumbler. Essentially, it's got brass in its tumbling, and you can see how it's moving very quickly, and clean the brass with all the pins and the detergent. Again, about an hour, I take it out. In a moment, I'm going to give you a little side view so you can see what it looks like from the side when it's running as well. It does a phenomenal job cleaning brass, and I definitely recommend this over the dry method. Okay, this is what it looks like when it comes out of my tumbler and gets through my separator. And you can see brand new looking shiny brass, ready to go ahead and prep. Okay, I've gone ahead and used my sifter and gotten rid of all the pins. And I've gone ahead and placed it in my dehydrator slash dryer, and it's now super clean, super dry, and spotless. It's essentially beautiful casings ready to load. They look like they're factory new. These are some of my reloading supplies: Hogden's CFE 223, CCI 400 primers, and some Omscore 55 grain full metal jacket projectiles. They do a fantastic job. This is my Dillon Super Swager. It allows me to convert 5.56 military primer pockets and swage them one at a time, and essentially allows me to reseat a standard primer in there for my reloading press. So it's a very important step. Get rid of the military crimp, and then you can reload standard primers in it. There are some steps you have to take when you're finished cleaning your brass and depriming it. Obviously, you need to go ahead and get a case gauge. This one is for 223, which is what I'm loading. And you simply slide it in here, and you make sure that it's flush. You can see that it's flush with the case head itself. And then you want to make sure that the neck is not protruding too much out of the bottom. If it is, then we have a trimmer device that will trim and deburr this so that we can move forward to the next step of the process. Okay, so now that we've deprimed, we've cleaned it, and we've gone ahead and used a case gauge, the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and get a micrometer out, and we need to take those calipers here and we need to measure, and if everything goes well, you measure properly, then the case will read properly. Okay, if not, and it's too long, then we need to trim it, as I mentioned a moment ago. Okay, it's also important to remember, after you've cleaned, deprimed, gauged, and measured, what this case actually weighs. There's different types of cases, and they'll throw off your weighing of your final bullets. So it's a good idea that you separate your media. You can normally do that via head stamps printed on the bottom. That'll tell you what brand, and you'll kind of, over a period of time, get to know what cases weigh what. Another method is to simply utilize the measuring device here. This happens to be a scale, and it's specifically designed for measuring ammo. And let me put that on there. And that's a standard commercial case. It's about 92.4 to 93. Okay, I've laid all my brass out on my nice little lubing towel. And now I'm going to use the Dillon spray to go ahead and lube my brass. And that's all it really takes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to roll them around. Hard to see here, but roll them around back and forth. And then let them sit for a minute and let them dry. Here's my Dillon bullet loader. Every time you pull the handle, the bullet gets made, and an angel gets its wings. As I mentioned earlier, not only do we gauge the cases and trim them as needed, but we also have to make sure that the final ammo that we're working with hasn't stretched in the process of reshaping. So as we restretch and push and mold new bullets together with new heads, sometimes it can stretch the cases. So again, it's flush, as you can see, and the neck is not protruding out. What's protruding out is the bullet. So this bullet is now gauged properly and is ready to be reloaded. And we'll do that once for each bullet as part of our quality control. Do I know that all my bullets are going to be good quality? Yeah, I pretty much do. But if you're making match grade ammo, it's very, very important that you check all your specs throughout the process. You don't want one bullet to squeak through and detonate in somebody's gun because you didn't check it. Okay, so obviously I went through the whole gauging process again for this new fresh ammo. And now at this point, I'm going to need to go ahead and use my calipers and gauge a round that I just built. And let's see where we're at on this particular bullet. Okay, so that one reads 223. Let me get another one here. And check this one. Okay, so on my calipers, if I can hold this together without breaking it apart, you'll see that I've got the 223 bullet in there, and you can see that it is showing that it is actually 223 long. Now, that's just a coincidence. It's within the SAMI spec. It can be 220 all the way up to 225.6. So we're within spec, and when we put it inside of an AR-15, we're not going to have a problem with it clogging or locking up or malfunctioning, and that's extremely important. So the last step I have to do is I have to take these 223 bullets that I made that are nice and shiny and brand new, and the final step in my process is to weigh this bullet. I happen to be using a Franklin Arsenal digital scale, and if you're sensing a trend with me and Franklin Arsenal, it's more of a love affair. Okay, so I made this bullet. It's 177 grams, so this bullet is absolutely perfect. I hope you enjoyed our video. I wanted to thank the guys that have helped me out tremendously. Loads of Bacon, Fortune Cookie, 45LC from the Hot Lead Zone, and of course Elvis Ammo, and the rest of you guys on the Reloaders channel. Thanks a bunch, guys. I really appreciate what you do. Hopefully I can contribute some to the channel as well.